Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. It's been a while, as it usually happens. I didn't mean to do that, as it usually happens. I don't know what episode this is, as it usually happens, and let's get right into it. So, an interesting topic. It used to be safe, but it is no longer safe. Now it's Euclid. SCP-1101 is contained in a 20 by 20 meter secure room at Site Something. The containment room is monitored and recorded from a separate station by CCTV at all times. However, under no circumstances should this be viewed while an SCP-1101 event is in progress. When monitoring devices detect activity in the containment room, an alarm is to sound, and both the containment room and the CCTV station are to be sealed until activity has ceased. All individuals under the influence of an 1101 event are to be quarantined by security staff wearing hearing protection. No more than 20 individuals are to be introduced to 1101 without O5 level approval. No objects are to be placed atop 1101 except under controlled testing circumstances. Following Incident 4, bathroom facilities and 1 month of supplies for up to 20 people have been placed in the containment room. Apparatus for the dispensing of VX nerve gas has been installed to be activated in the event of a major emergency, specifically any one of the following. 1. Less than 50 individuals or more than 50 individuals under the influence of 1101. Risk of uncontrolled spread of an 1101 event beyond the containment facility, and 1101 event of greater duration than a month. If this protocol is in conjunction with standard quarantine measures fails to contain the emergency, personnel should refer to Plan Moderate 4, which data expunged. Okay. Description: SCP-1101 is a 0.6 meter tall marble pedestal with an octagonal top. It exhibits no unusual properties until an object is placed on it in the presence of more than one person. In this situation, any comment made related to the object by an individual present will start a heated discussion, an 1101 event. During an event, affected individuals are compelled to continue the discussion until broad agreement is reached with one individual, the winner. The winner will take the object atop 1101, which signals the end of an event. If the affected individuals do not come to an agreement, a winner will be selected after a certain length of time and end the event. In this case, the winner has usually made a more intelligent and factually correct argument, but there appears to be subjectivity involved, perhaps suggesting sapience on 1101's part. Memories of the event are retained. Subsequently, the winner experiences feelings of euphoria and an attachment to the object won, while the rest of the affected individual subjects suffer mildly depressed mood. These effects are transient and dissipate after a maximum of 1 week. Individuals will join an event regardless of debating skill, educational level, or ordinary interest in the event topic. 1101 does not appear to cause major personality changes save the compulsion to discuss. However, events have the potential to become vitriolic regardless of individual personalities. Interestingly, no incidents of physical violence have been recorded during an event despite frequent displays of extreme anger. Affected individuals will only attend to basic needs if it is possible to simultaneously participate in the event, such as may collapse from exhaustion if an event is of sufficient duration, but appear to suffer no long-term ill effects. The event is a mimetic hazard. All individuals who hear an event in progress or see 1101 at the time are compelled to join, including individuals viewing the event remotely. The latter are capable of starting separate secondary instances of 1101 events, which will gravitate towards the location of 1101. Duration of events is variable and dependent on the specific arguments and positions taken by the individuals involved. 1101 events have been observed ranging from 3 minutes to up to 5 months. In this particular case, the event only ceased due to interruption of food supplies and subsequent starvation of individuals involved. Further information may be found in Redacted. Test Battery 1101-1. Initial baseline testing. An object was placed on 1101 and test subjects instructed to enter the containment chamber. Also, there's an addendum before I click the test battery. It has been observed that duration of an 1101 event generally scales with the number of individuals involved. Due to the potential for mimetic spread of an event, it is estimated that a breach of containment would lead to a point of no return, where event duration is unacceptably high after a critical mass of redacted persons, leading to a perpetual 1101 event and potential AK class end of the world scenario. In light of this theory, 1101 has been upgraded to Euclid class and new containment procedures implemented. This feels like one of those SCPs where they should just take a sledgehammer to it and be done with it, instead of hanging on to it. So test A. Object, nothing. 5 disposable dudes. Instructions, nothing. They made normal conversation for 5 minutes. 1 rectangular pine wood block. 5 disposable dudes, in addition to Dr. Major unplanned inclusion. 1101 asked to describe D1101 asked to describe the object. Transcript. It's a wooden block. I think they want you to say what sort of wood? The last thing I was assigned to, they kept making me put these balsa sheets into some machine. Balsa doesn't come in blocks, it's something else. He didn't say it was balsa, it's probably some kind of oak wood. It's a pine block. Why is he telling us? Maybe it's a trick. Other test subjects voiced agreement. You idiots, I know what it is! Redacted. At this stage, full properties of 1101 were unknown. Dr. Major was observing remotely and was therefore affected by the event. Test subjects proceeded to argue for 6 minutes about both the composition of the block and the trustworthiness of Dr. Major. After 6 minutes, they were convinced by Dr. Major of the block's composition, and he left the observation room to collect the block, winning and ending the event. Live observation of 1101 was subsequently discontinued. Object: 1 rectangular pine wood block. D Class 1101 1 through 5. Asked to give opinion about the object. Oh, it's this damn block. I don't really care about this. It doesn't do anything. I guess you could use it as a door stopper. Who the hell would want that? I might. It could be a paperweight. No, it's too big. It would be better as a door stopper. Are you serious? It's just a block! Redacted. So I just argued about possible uses for the block for 13 minutes. Agreement was reached that the block was not designed for function, but could have some useful characteristics. 2 was the winner, and the event ended. Object: 1 Panasonic portable DVD player not powered. Same 5 people. Additional instructions, none. It'd be good if they gave us some movies here once in a while. Yeah, I haven't seen anything since I got it. Nothing newer than blank blank. Are you kidding? I love those! It went downhill after the first one. Now you have to be kidding. So I just argued about the merits of the blank blank film series for 49 minutes. No agreement was reached. 3, with the opinion that the second film was the underrated gem of the series, took the DVD player, winning and ending the event. Which implies that 1101 agrees that that was the best movie, which means that the SCP has seen movies somehow? 1 political campaign button reading redacted 2012. Same dudes. Data expunged. Data expunged and blank casualties before containment was reestablished. Security measures for 1101's use with controversial items have been heightened. Test E. Test designed to determine the effects of 1101 on individuals with a prior interest in the event topic and enthusiasm for debate. 1 postcard depicting Claude Monet's Water Lilies, 1907. Test subjects Dr. A and Dr. P, both with an amateur interest in art collecting. Additional instructions. Dr. A asked to comment on the object. Transcript. The real thing is much nicer. I don't know, I prefer his portraits myself, though I think Renoir does them better. Renoir? Have you been to the Musée d'Orsay? Redacted. That's absolute trash! You think my tastes are trash? You probably thought Monet and Monet were twin brothers. You're saying this when you haven't even been outside of blank, you pretentious little, probably, expletives. My mother was what? Redacted. So I'll just argue for 82 minutes before Dr. P said, I can't argue with you anymore. Dr. A took the postcard and ended the event. A and P have subsequently been hostile to one another. In the absence of staff who are able to act like adults, I recommend that testing of 1101 between co-workers be avoided. Dang. Okay, so that brings us to the Blue Ridge phenomenon. It's also Euclid, so maybe it's just a dangerous thing that just kind of sits there. SCP-1102 is confined to an already settled landscape, giving it CU Caldera designation as a highly sensitive widespread phenomenon. As per these regulations, civilian awareness of an overarching effect is monitored by local agents, and specific outbreaks are to be suppressed as per standard procedures based on the number of witnesses and exposure. Additionally, as per the Caldera Protocol, Foundation sociologists are to aid in the cultivation and segregation of civilian awareness by creating different mythologies of the aspects of 1102's manifestation. Over blank of these are in circulation and are believed to aid in preventing a holistic view of the phenomenon and question from farming. Active specimens or manifestations will disappear shortly and are to be restrained from entering highly populated areas and roadways when possible. Active specimens are not known to be dangerous to humans. Research is currently suspended but is scheduled to restart on blankety blank blank. Description: 1102 is a phenomenon localized in the Blue Ridge mountain range in the eastern USA though evidence suggests it may also include an area as far south as mid-Georgia and Alabama. For a complete map of 1102 related incidents from which the current location has been defined, contact Dr. Blank or any level 4 personnel. Fun fact, I've been to the Blue Ridge Mountain Range, or rather I've been through it to get to Anthrocon. It's fun going through the mountains. The best way to go through the mountains when you're trying to get to Pittsburgh from where I was going from is to listen to the Indiana Jones theme from Raiders of the Lost Ark while you're going through all the mountains. It's fantastic. Anyway, the exact cause of the effect is unknown, as no external factor has affected any facet of 1102. This is therefore assumed to be related to data expunged. The effect occurs only at night, during periods of rain or snow, we come from the land of the ice and snow, and targets deceased bodies within a small, randomly selected area. For each reasonably intact corpse in the area, and animated likenesses of the original organism will appear, with minor differences including in humans, changes, darkening or lightening in skin tone, deformity, see DOC 1102-114A something, alteration or lack of facial features, or small appendages, fingers, toes, genitalia, and blankety blank blank. Clothing and body modifications or piercings, provided they are intact, are generally retained. It is unknown if the resulting entities are the same as the original creature or are completely new organisms. The dominant urge in all subjects, human or otherwise, seems to be one of returning or rejoining other members of the original species. Subjects instinctively know where the nearest group is, and the larger the group, the more likely the subject is to attempt to integrate with them. One historical sighting, for instance, describes seeing a faceless hound, ghostly white, running in the company of other wild hounds, though not braying or making a sound, as its mouth was sealed shut. Yeah. At rare intervals, however, the effect occurs at extreme magnitudes that may encompass many square kilometers. Further depiction can be accessed in document 1102-A4 for procedure 1102-Eve, Resurrection Woods. For context, Foundation folklorists, historians, and retrieval teams estimate this particular event has occurred 3 times in the past century. All entities completely vanish at some point in the same night that their appearance occurs, usually shortly before sunrise. They leave no discernible physical evidence of their presence apart from footprints, damaged vegetation, and so on. Given the entity's rare occurrence and transient nature, limited information is available about them or the effect, and research is still pending. In 2006, 100 Foundation operatives were stationed at graveyards in the Blue Ridge area for 4 months in hopes of seeing the phenomenon manifest. At the end, one successful specimen was restrained and the following observations were made. They are corporeal and have mass. They do not react to extraneous sounds or noise, even when they may indicate the presence of more of the host species. For instance, when a recording of a large chorus was played for one entity, it still moved towards the 2 operatives present, who were the largest nearby human presence. Entities can die and have human anatomies without significant alterations or additions. Brain and nervous activity, however, are sporadic and do not seem to correspond to any typical anatomy. Entities resemble the corresponding original corpse, though often differing in many ways. The entity, in some ways, continues to be linked to the original corpse. When the entity vanishes, the original corpse will also vanish at approximately the same time. The ultimate destination of either entity is unknown, as is how they disappear. Entities are believed to be neither conscious, sapient, nor possessing of complex intelligence. Auxiliary File 1. Because of its unpredictable and sparse nature, the phenomenon has been studied from local stories and accounts that seem to describe it. Several folklores are appointed for the responsibility of distinguishing possibly real accounts from fictional mythology. From these results, the effect has been described as far back as accurate stories go, including the journals of at least 3 separate isolated farmers in the area who devoted time to observing the phenomenon when it occurred. For instance, one incident reported in a local newspaper occurred in 1978 before the Foundation had completed its current containment procedures of the effect. A 17-year-old male was killed by an unknown individual and apparently buried in a shallow grave near his former high school on the same night as the school's prom celebration. 5 months later, the individual was reanimated, undergoing mutations typical of 1102, on the night of a student fundraiser and, showing typical signs of attraction to human presence, entered the school through an unlocked door. Police were alerted, but due to numerous interferences, several hours passed before they arrived, by which point the high school was in a lockdown and complete panic. Most of those present self-evacuated, with the exception of several students who became trapped in a locked kitchen area. and an 18-year-old female who had been in a relationship with the affected individual and was observed in the corner of the common area screaming, "Big Joe! Big Joe, it's me!" See? "It's me! You came back for us, Big Joe!" The teenager's correct identification of Joseph Blank, despite significant alteration, is of interest, and it is hoped more description of this phenomenon will be uncovered in further accounts. Alexander personal report by Dr. Blank Blank. Blue Ridge is big, lonely, mysterious. It's actually the trees that make it blue, and at sunset, night settles down like nothing else in the world, meaning it's possibly the best place east of the Mississippi for us to find this. Nonetheless, people spread out, and we're making more and more calls for incidents in Great Smoky. Plus, we still haven't found a good way to take the SCP out of Blue Ridge, and then maybe put it somewhere else, like a big box with a lock. The only theory we've got is this. I was slamming back beers with Blank Blank a while ago, and he said the only way we could do it, at all, was to contain the whole range. He's right. You can't take the effect out of the landscape. It's something in the mountains, about the mountains, that makes all the dead come back faceless and insane. I don't know what it wants. Make us all go away, be merciful to them, fuck with us? As helpful as it might be, I hope it never figures it out. Slamming back beers. Now it's time for Dr. Wondertainment's Young Surgeon's Transplant Kit, which is probably going to be terrifying. It says it's safe, but it's, it's Dr. Wondertainment, it is what it is. Outside of scheduled experiments, instances of SCP-1103 are to be stored in a standard large volume storage refrigerator in Biocontainment Unit 23 at a temperature below 5 degrees Celsius. Due to limited supply, experiment proposals must be approved by at least 2 personnel with 2-1103 clearance. Description: SCP-1103 refers to a set of commercially packed human body parts labeled 1103-1-1 to 1103-1-11. All contained objects are vacuum-packed on plastic trays with the label Dr. Wondertainment's Young Surgeon's Transplant Kit, at a price tag ranging between $3.99 to $25.99. Several of the packs have an additional sticker showing a stylized bull's head with the words "Corn Belt" written across its front. Additional content of each package varies. However, all packages contain an instruction leaflet, see Addendum 1, a set of single-use plastic gloves, and a tube labeled Dr. Wondertainment's Tube of Wonder Lube, designated 2. The tube has a break-off end and contains approximately 5 ccms of a translucent, viscous yellow-green liquid of composition resembling blood plasma. Analysis has shown the tissues to be unusually durable. A sample was able to survive up to 3 hours exposed to room temperature air. When vacuum packed or submerged in physiologic solution and then cooled to below 5 degrees Celsius, a sample can be stored practically indefinitely. DNA analysis has shown the samples come from distinct individuals of varied race and gender, despite their uniform appearance. The only common trait among them appears to be the blood type of O and negative rhesus factor. Applying 2 to human or animal tissues results in the temporary loosening of intercellular bonds of a layer between 1 mm thick, accompanied by mild fluorescence of duration circa 5 minutes, after which the surface regains its previous structure. In the case of skin application, the outermost epidermis layer does not reconstitute. If another simple tissue sample is brought into contact with the loose cell layer during this period, the surface has fused together. Over the following 6 to 14 hours, the interface between the two develops a functioning blood vessel network. Neural connections were initially thought not to develop. Subsequent experiments have shown this process to take an average of 3 weeks. Only 1 case of tissue rejection has been recorded during testing despite foreign origin of tissue. Experiment logs available upon request to all personnel with at least 1-1103 clearance. Recovery log. SCP-1103 came into the attention of the Foundation on blank 10/2000-something after an incident with the blank National Hospital in somewhere in Illinois, when an 11-year-old named JW was hospitalized with hands apparently fused to his face. Interviewing the subject, it revealed that he purchased a joke surgery kit classified 1-1 at blank blank, a local joke shop, and attempted to use it to graft an additional finger to each of his hands. Subject's home was searched, resulting in the procurement of an instance of 1103 and a shop bill from blank blank, confirming the interview data. Investigation of the shop has resulted in seizing additional blank instances of 1103, however the owner has proven to lack any knowledge of its anomalous effects. Investigation into the origin of the shipment is ongoing. All involved were treated with class amnestics, and evidence linking JW's disfigurement to a gas leak explosion was fabricated. Addendum 1, Instruction Leaflet for SCP-1103-1-1. Hello! You have successfully purchased Funny Finger Transplant, a part of Dr. Wondertainment's Young Surgeon's Transplant Kit, and are on your way to becoming a young surgeon. What do you need to be a young surgeon, you ask? Step 1. Find a friend who needs a finger. Step 2. Open the Funny Finger Transplant All Rights Reserved package without hesitation. Step 3. Like a real surgeon, put on Dr. Wondertainment's Gummy Gloves All Rights Reserved. Make sure they're a good fit. Step 4. Break open the cap of Dr. Wondertainment's Tube of Wonder Lube, all rights reserved. Don't worry, it won't go off if you keep it cool. Step 5. Spread a little Wonder Lube on the place that longs for a new digit. Step 6. Just like traffic lights, wait until you see a green light. Step 7. Take a funny finger, all rights reserved, and put it where it should go. Make sure you have put it the right way on or everyone will laugh. Ha ha ha. Step 8. Hold it in place for about 5 seconds. Hurrah! The operation has succeeded, young surgeon. When not being a young surgeon, be sure to keep your Dr. Wondertainment's Young Surgeon's Transplant Kit cool. Do not touch the Wonder Lube with bare hands. Be careful when pulling down the gummy gloves. Be precise like a real surgeon. Once the funny finger is in place, you won't be able to get it off that easily. If you enjoy being a young surgeon, consider buying Dr. Wondertainment's Young Surgeon's Human Construction Set. Warning, may contain traces of nuts. Indeed. So, that brings us to Nose Crab. The Nose Crab is Keter? Alright then. Special containment procedures. Complete destruction of 1104 is endorsed should adequate means be developed. While individual instances of 1104 are easily terminated, it is endemic to subsurface geological formations in northwestern blank, rendering the surmised primary population of 1104 inaccessible to convenient lethal agents. A surrounding area 10 kilometers in diameter has been designated Site 104 and cordoned from the public under guise of endangered species preservation. Personnel must wear N100 air filtration masks while within Site 104. Mammalian organisms exceeding 10 kilograms, other than authorized Foundation personnel, entering Site 104 should be assumed contaminated and incinerated at facilities on site. Dang. Description: SCP-1104 is a species tentatively identified as a member of Order Chelicerata? What is that? A subphylum constitutes one of the major subdivisions of the phylum Arthropoda. It contains the sea spiders, arachnids, and several extinct lineages such as the Eurypterids? Okay. The life cycle of 1104 comprises of at least 2 distinct phases, the first being a larval stage approximately 0.4 millimeters in diameter. At irregular intervals, larval 1104 are expelled from lava tubes within Site 104 at concentrations of up to 200 individuals per cubic meter. These remain airborne for as long as 14 hours and have been documented to travel at least blank kilometers under favorable weather conditions. When inhaled, larvae will adhere to nasal mucosa, where they excrete an array of H1 receptor antagonists that suppress both local inflammation and implementation of further larvae. Over a period of 6 to 8 months, 1104 will grow and extend appendages through the host's ethmoidal canals. Hosts generally remain unaware of the presence of 1104 apart from the persistent but non-specific headaches. On maturation, 1104 will begin applying pressure to the host's optic nerves, causing obstruction of the central visual field. This pressure is applied selectively when the host is not oriented towards a local gradient of atmospheric hydrogen sulfide, which 1104 can detect through the host's inhalations. After an initial period of distress, the host will begin to prefer to face and travel in the directions where they do not experience visual disturbances, thus tracing the source of hydrogen sulfide. Upon reaching a zone of sufficient hydrogen sulfide concentration, 1104 projects appendages into the host's prefrontal cortex, causing unconsciousness, during which 1104 exits the host via the ocular cavity. Upon leaving a host, 1104 attempts to locate and enter the source of hydrogen sulfide, such as a lava tube or sewer pipe. The subterranean life cycle has not been documented. Although humans display the same instinctual aversion as any animal to visual disturbances caused by 1104, the behavioral response is not a compulsion, and hosts may defy the influence, especially if informed of the nature of 1104. Note that subsequent hostility towards research personnel should be anticipated. Attempts at surgically removing or poisoning a fully developed 1104 result in immediate elicitation of its exit response. Post-exit hosts exhibit complete spontaneity due to orbitofrontal lesions and to date have provided no pertinent information in debriefing. What does that mean? Noun. The absence of an immediate and spontaneous reaction to stimulus. Okay, so basically it's just that once the nose crab exits the human, they presumably rip their frontal lobe out so the person is functionally comatose. Okay. And that brings us to neural polypore. Today's just a bad day for brains and body parts in the SCP Foundation, isn't it? SCP-1105, it's safe, for what it's worth, is to be kept in a sealed habitat within, used as a containment cell 4045, be it Bio-Research Site Area 12, but now it says containment cell 1332 at Site blank. So something happened. A size of roughly 2.8 square meters is to be maintained through provision of plant matter grown within a dedicated greenhouse. A temperature of 15.6 degrees Celsius at 5% humidity is to be maintained with an inbuilt climate control system. Air exiting the cells to be passed through redundant filtration systems. Containment area is sealed from observation deck via double airlock. Doors are connected through an exterior locking system, allowing them to be sealed in case of emergency or containment breach. All windows, vents, seams, and doorways are to be lined with electromagnetic coils in continuous operation, so always on. Bzzz. EM-shielded CCTV cameras with dual battery backups will be mounted in each corner of the room to provide audio-visual monitoring. If 1105 demonstrates signs of hostility or makes a concerted attempt to escape its enclosure, a scram switch installed in the primary observation area will activate multiple high-pressure jets of dicyanoacetylene to immediately destroy it. Backup samples of 1105 spores are to be kept at Bio-Research Area 12. Description: SCP-1105 is a species of mobile fungus resembling Fomitophoria ellipsoidea. In sufficiently large concentrations, individual elements grow together into forms and structures beneficial to the whole, though no centralized nervous system can be detected that could be used to direct such growth. 1105 appears to grow most readily upon dead plant matter, and has been observed to become motile in an attempt to reach such matter, though in the absence of viable plant material, the fungus can subsist in an inert state on ambient moisture alone. Did it mean mobile, or is motile a thing? Capable of motion. So motile just means mobile if it's a cell. I get that the SCP is a scientific organization, but you could have just said mobile. If it means the exact same thing... Scientists. Once the fungus locates suitable plant matter, it will undergo a mitotic phase to form a number of filamental mycelia, eventually covering the plant matter and mechanically breaking it down prior to consuming it. Over a period of 24 to 48 hours, subsumed material is used to enlarge these strands, which become thickened and reinforced and develop a rubbery texture. After these characteristics manifest, the mycelia begin to vibrate and display evidence of electrical activity. Analysis of samples taken from fungal growth at this stage indicates no viable means of producing or storing an electrical charge. After sufficient fungal mass is accumulated, roughly 5 kilograms, the collective mass will dissociate into 4 to 6 smaller masses of approximately equal size, referred to as 1105-1. These individual masses display independent motivations, though are apparently capable of assisting each other with tasks such as reaching additional plant matter for consumption. 1105-1 instances have a tendency to alter their morphology on a near constant basis to accommodate environmental factors or the task in which they are currently engaged, such as developing a greater number of leg analogs while motile and in search of food, or producing additional mandibles while consuming plant matter. Additionally, individual 1105-1 have been observed to adopt forms resembling organisms in the order Trilobita or Rodentia. Other forms resembling the families Lepidoptera and Gyridae have been observed, but only infrequently. These additional forms appear entirely spontaneously and do not appear to be triggered by any specific external conditions. Okay, so let's find out what that means. That's probably a trilobite, that's probably a mouse. But what is this? Lepidoptera? Butterflies. Okay, so maybe that doesn't mean what I think it does. Might as well double check. Nah, that's right, that's right. And what was the last one? This one? Garridae? Bugs. Whatever. So, Addendum Recovery. 1105 was initially recovered by Foundation operatives in the Heilongjiang province of China in 1987 on December 17th. Following a significant seismic event in the area, numerous reports had surfaced of a forest monster and outlying rural areas. Based on a description closely matching the one given in this document, 39 AMTF New 7 agents were dispatched to investigate and report. Within 500 meters of the area where sightings had occurred, the operatives' SUVs were swarmed and subsequently electronically disabled by what the agents estimated as hundreds of instances of one. The agents rapidly dismounted, drew the instances away from their transports, and engaged them with incendiary munitions, destroying the swarm. After an hour-long search, they discovered an apparent point of origin beyond a path of stripped vegetation adjacent to the hillside. It was later determined that the earlier seismic activity had created a fault in the bedrock, exposing a large cavern containing substantial 1105 growth. It is assumed to have subsisted on ambient moisture and mineral deposits. Following collection of specimens and core samples, the cavern was sterilized via saturation, detonation, and subsequently collapsed and sealed with ANFO. Addendum 2 Aquatics. While instances of one have displayed an ability to adapt and travel upon the surface of a body of water, they have been shown to be unable to thrive underwater. If forcibly submerged for an extended period of time, they will simply fall apart. Addendum 3 Senses. While it is apparent that animated one are unable to process light as a sensory medium, they seem to be able to sense movement by detecting air currents and electromagnetic fields generated by animate beings. One simply flee from these fields. As such, electromagnets have been incorporated into the containment procedures. Now, what is this thing that I'm struggling to say? What does that mean? It is also called a carbon subnitride, or but to indenitride, whatever. Y'all could have just called it carbon subnitride. Okay, so that about does it for this episode of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the next episode, we're going to read Grow Your Own Child Kit, a Signal, a Swamp God, the Painkiller, and videos of a robbery. If you like this video, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well, so you can get more notifications when I post more videos. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.